Hello, I'm Holly Payne and welcome to your 5 minutes with Seatrade Cruise, your roundup of the week's top stories, today brought to you by our sponsor, the Port of Tarragona. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings is proposing to sell $500 million in senior notes due 2026 in a private offering. The company expects to use the net proceeds for general corporate purposes. The notes will be guaranteed by certain subsidiaries on a senior unsecured basis. They are being offered only to qualified institutional investors outside of the US. Among the cautionary statements is the ability to comply with the CDC's framework for conditional sailing order and to otherwise develop enhanced health and safety protocols to adapt to the pandemic. Other prerequisites include cooperating and coordinating with the CDC, the federal government and global public health authorities. Windstar Cruises is postponing all sailings until May and has cancelled US calls including Alaska plus Mexico. According to Windstar President Chris Pralog, longer sailings wouldn't be compatible with the CDC. The delay impacts Star Breeze, which is now set to return to cruising on May 15th with a newly added itinerary from St. Martin. It had been scheduled to enter service on March 27th in the Caribbean before transiting the Panama Canal to sail in the Sea of Cortez and then on to Alaska. Windstar will offer exploration on small boats with stops in the British Virgin Islands. The newly transformed Star Legend, currently undergoing the same upgrade at Fincantieri's Palermo yard as Star Breeze did, is slated to be the first Windstar yacht to return to service beginning May 1st. Australia's Health Minister Greg Hunt has welcomed the news that New Zealand's government has agreed, in principle, to establish a Trans-Tasman bubble early next year. The plan is to name a date for the commencement of the quarantine-free travel in the new year. An Australian-New Zealand leadership forum, headed by Carnival Australia advisor and former chairman Anne Sherry, has been working for months, investigating what protocols need to be in place for travel between the two countries to resume. The Trans-Tasman bubble will initially apply to air transport only. However, Sherry told Seatrade Cruise News, "We will be raising all the elements of tourism as part of this discussion." New Zealand and the Cook Islands recently announced a similar travel bubble. The ban on international travel in Australia is in place until March 17th. A preliminary hearing in the Auckland District Court relating to the White Island volcano eruption that killed passengers on a shore excursion has been adjourned. The tragedy occurred last December after passengers on board Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas ventured to see the landmark. The hearing involves 13 parties and will be held March 5th, following a request for more time to review the evidence provided by WorkSafe New Zealand and to receive legal advice. WorkSafe Chief Executive Phil Parkes said 10 parties face charges which carry a maximum fine of 1.5 million New Zealand dollars each. Parkes said 3 individuals have been charged under Section 44 of New Zealand's Health and Safety at Work Act, which requires directors or individuals with significant influence of a company to ensure it's meeting health and safety obligations. If convicted, the 3 face fines of up to 300,000 New Zealand dollars each. He added that the investigation is the largest and most complex ever undertaken by the organisation. MSC Cruises has signed a new single-use plastic charter by the UK Chamber of Shipping, which sets out to end the use of single-use plastic items on board vessels by the end of 2021. Lyndon Coppell, Director of Sustainability at MSC Cruises, said, "The pledge goes beyond the UK government's commitment to ban single plastic items, which we hope will encourage more organisations to do more." Last year, MSC Cruises eliminated 97 million items of plastic from their vessels. And finally, the US House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure and the Subcommittee on Coast Guard and Maritime Transportation are pressing for records from the CDC related to the COVID-19 response on cruise ships. The records were requested more than 7 months ago in connection with the committee's investigation into how Carnival Corporation dealt with the outbreak. While the request was put to the CDC, lawmakers said they understand it is being handled by the Department of Health and Human Services instead. In their letters to HHS Secretary Alex Azar and CDC Director Robert Redfield, Committee Chair Peter DeFazio and Subcommittee Chair Sean Patrick Maloney stated that the lack of response was completely unacceptable. DeFazio and Maloney asked the leaders of HHS and the CDC to respond to a series of specific questions about the status of the committee's records requests by December 23rd. That's all for our 5-minute roundups until the new year, but in the meantime you can sign up for our live webinar, Caring for Crew Mental Health on Land and at Sea, playing December 18th, where I'll be joined by a lineup of expert speakers to discuss the topic. And thanks again to the Port of Tarragona. Visit tarragonacruiseport.com to find out more about the gateway to the UNESCO World Heritage City and the Mediterranean, and check out their video. Thank you for watching.